Work Together 13.4 is turned on and available to you. Oh, no. Next Friday you can have a break. Oh, yeah. So, when we look at 13.4, it's Cash Payments Journal. Unlike yesterday when we did our Form 941, you open it up and you got that cold, sweaty feeling of, it's going to be a federal form, you're a little nervous, you don't really know what to do. I will tell you, you will have to fill out some of that information on our test for the chapter, and you really had just that one assignment that you're going to have to look at that 941 on. So please make sure before the test that you go through and review how to do that. All of the information they give you in the directions, you just have to plug it into the right spots. So for 13.4 for today, we have to go through and journalize the payment of our taxes. The form we did yesterday is what we fill out to send into the government to prove how much we owe for our different taxes. And we have to pay taxes to two different entities, okay? So I need to pay my employee income tax, my employee Social Security, my employee Medicare, my employer Social Security, and my employer Medicare. That's what we filled out on Form 941. And we send that in to the federal government. So I'm going to write one check that would cover those. Now, I said Social Security and Medicare twice because one's the employee and one's the employer. But I'm only going to write that account once. I would just say Social Security tax payable, Medicare tax payable, and employee income tax payable, and write one check. The other thing that I have to fill out and send in is going to be my unemployment. Now, I have two unemployments. I have state and I have federal. So I'm going to send the state one right here for us. I would send the state unemployment to Madison. Does that make sense? Now, the federal one, I would have to go through and then send to, like, for example, Washington, D.C. We don't always send them in at exactly the same time, so we do have to watch the timing of those. Oh, because I have it set for later. Hang on one second. So when we look at 13.4, employers have to pay federal, state, and local government taxes. The payment of payroll taxes to the government is referred to as a deposit. Two amounts determine how often deposits need to be made to the government. The amount of the payroll taxes collected during the current deposit year and the amount of payroll taxes owed during the prior 12-month period. When we take a look at that 12-month period, that is called the look-back period. So not all businesses pay taxes at exactly the same time. And on page 383 in your textbook, they go through and talk about when you have to deposit your information. It says, will your total taxes for the quarter be less than $2,500? If you're not sure, you answer no. If it is more than $2,500, they have to be deposited by the end of the month after the quarter, or in the mail with the Form 941. So basically, we have to go through and take a look at the quarters. So your first payroll period is going to end in March. So you have January, February, March. So when would your payroll taxes be due then? If it's more than $2,500. When does the quarter end? March. Yep. So when would your taxes be due? April 30th. So they're due by the end of the next month. What's up? Hit F1. You're welcome. Hit escape. Now try F2, work your way across. There you go. So If you owe more than $2,500 in taxes, you have to pay by the end of the next month following your quarter. So that's important for you to know, because in your assignment, it's not going to give you the date when it needs to be paid by. They expect you to know that, and that is always a little bit of a hiccup. So that page 348 is going to be something that you should go through and read, and that would be a good thing to put in your outline as well. On page 384 is a federal deposit coupon that you would have to fill out when you send in. When we look at our directions here, it tells me a cash payments journal is given below, and we're going to guide you to the following recording of transactions. We have the date paid, March 31st. We have federal income tax withheld, employee Social Security tax withheld, and employee Medicare tax withheld. It says credit balances on March 31st for unemployment accounts for the federal is $511.75. State is $3,454.34. And it says digital supplies pays both unemployment taxes each quarter. So the first thing I need to do is prepare a journal entry for payment of taxes withheld. Digital supplies is a monthly scheduled depositor. So journalize check number 383 on the cash payments journal, page 14, using the date the taxes are due to the federal government. So we have March 31st is going to be the date that we have to pay this. We have to pay it monthly, so at the end of March, we're going to have to go through and put this in as April 30th. I need to pay my monthly taxes, so I'm going to pay my employee income tax payable, Social Security, and Medicare. So my employee income tax payable is my first one. Check 383. How much do we owe for employee income tax payable? It's not a trick question, it's in the directions. Yes, $1,386. Now, I paused here for a really long time instead of just telling you that, because here it says federal income tax withheld, but that is not our account. Our account that we associate with that is employee income tax payable. So that's why I said the account title, and I said what's the number that goes with it. Okay? So we'll put that number in. I do not know the amount of cash yet, so I'm not filling in cash. The next one I have to fill in is going to be Social Security tax payable. Who has to pay Social Security? Both? What do you mean by both? Employer and employee. So when I read this line right here, it says employee Social Security tax withheld. So I cannot, must not, will not put in my journal right now $1,322.05. Why? I need to pay the employee and the employer. So what number goes in there? How'd you get that number? Multiply by 2 or add the 2 together, either way, right? I am paying the employer and the employee. Now, ideally, this is really what you would do. You would look in your journal and you would see how much do you owe, and that would be what you would pay. Okay, you would take your journal and you would post it in your ledger. Your ledger would have your amount, and then you would pay everything that's due in your ledger. We need to do the same thing for Medicare tax payable. I am not going to put in $309.25. What am I going to put? Say it again? Yes, $618.50, because that is my employee and my employer portion. So I'm going to take $618.50 plus $2,644.10 plus $1,386 And that gives me $4,648.60. Ideally, that would be the amount that is on your Form 941. How did I get that number? Add the three numbers together. I have 3 debits. That would give me my 1 credit. Oh, you know what? I gave you the wrong date. It should have been April 15th. They have to pay it by the 15th of the following pay period. I'm sorry. Because Digital Supplies is a monthly scheduled payer, they need to, by the 15th of the following month, pay their employee income tax, Social Security tax, and Medicare tax. Instruction number 2 reads, prepare journal entries for the payment of federal and state unemployment taxes. So that is going to be done on the 30th. That is always by the last day of the quarter following. And we're going to pay federal unemployment first. And that is going to be check 401. How much am I paying? Where'd you find that? In the instructions. Only the employer pays it, so I'm just paying $511.75, and that's really just looking at my ledger and seeing how much do I owe. Okay, that's what I'm paying. What's the other one I need to pay? State. So I'm going to do unemployment tax payable. State, check number 402. And Cole, what's the number on that one? Yep. Those 2 numbers were given to us right in the directions. Ideally, you would look in your ledger, and that would be where you would find that information. Go ahead and try on your own.